can call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. Be the fam that's
Attica, Attica, Attica. Y'all ever wonder where that comes from? I think it came from a movie. I think that's where it came from. Your girl turned 35 on May 24th. I ain't gonna front to y'all. My birthday, thank God for social media. Because I feel like if it wasn't for social media, when nobody had called me but my mama, my sister, and like 3 people that really like pay attention. I still had a good time. I still made the best of it and stuff like that. And I was happy. I'm happy to be 35, y'all. What's good, my peoples? I missed y'all so much. But yeah, May has been a crazy month. May has been a busy month. That's why I haven't really put out nothing for y'all. And I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me. Today I'm about to hit y'all with another episode of Let Me Put You On. Because I feel like I ain't been doing my due diligence and educating y'all on some shit. So today we gonna talk about, in fact, this video is specifically dedicated to my men's up north. To my men's up north, to my men's doing time. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of y'all. You know, I'm looking out for y'all and shit, but you know, there's some shit that y'all have going on right now that y'all couldn't have had back in the day. How many of y'all have ever heard of Attica? Like, you know, like you watch, I think there was a movie. I think there was a movie about Attica or whatever. Or if you like a Orange is the New Black type person that used to watch Orange is the New Black, at the end when they did the little prison riot and shit, they started chanting, Attica, Attica. Well, Attica was a real prison, y'all. Attica is a real prison. Not was. It is a real prison. I think they still call it Attica Correctional Facility. And it's upstate New York. It's in upstate New York. And in 1971, there was a prison riot at Attica Prison that kind of brought about change to the whole prison system and how we do shit now. Because like I said, a lot of y'all now, if y'all think y'all got it bad, especially if you've ever done time in Rikers or whatever like that, you think you got it bad now. Back then, Jesus Lord. So let's get into it, y'all. Y'all know what we got to do. We got to jump into our time machines and take our asses to 1971. Let's go. We in 1971. So I ain't gonna front y'all. 1971 wasn't shit really happening. I looked it up. I tried to like see what was going on in 1971. If anything major happened in 1971, ain't nothing really major happened in 1971. But I'll give y'all like some little facts. In 1971, the voting age changed because everybody was pushing for the voting age to be lowered. So in 1971, the voting age was lowered to 18, to where you could vote at 18. Disney World opened in 1971. What else happened? Oh, that fuck nigga. The fuck nigga that I was... remember I was telling y'all in my Black Lives Matter video when I was talking about all the crazy ass people in the world is white people? And all the people that done did some real fuck shit and crazy ass crimes was like white people? Yeah. Charles Manson and his little crew got originally sentenced to the death penalty in 1971. But, of course, it was overturned and that motherfucker ended up getting life in prison. He ended up dying in prison a couple of years ago, y'all. I think like 2 or 3 years ago. It might have been more. Oh, well, who fucking cares? Bottom line, that nigga died in prison when he should have got the death penalty. And his little crew, I think one of them died of cancer and 2 of them got pardoned or whatever for whatever reason. The jazz great Louis Armstrong passed away in 1971. And the lead singer of The Doors, Jim Morrison, passed away in 1971. You know what I'm saying? Your baby coming like my fire. Baby coming. So yeah, but also, we gonna get to what we talking about while I do my makeup and all this good shit, y'all. In 1971, the Attica prison riot happened. Now, let me give y'all a little backstory on Attica, right? Now, we talking 1971. So 1971, you know, we kind of was at the end of the civil rights movement. Dr. King had already been killed. Malcolm X had already been killed. You know, we was kind of at the end of all that shit. But there was still racial tension. There was definitely still racial tension. And what other place could there be more racial tension than fucking jail? Okay? And it was similar to how it is now, y'all, where it's like if you are in prison, you know, you basically got to stick to your own. You know what I mean? Blacks stay with blacks, whites stay with whites, and Spanish stay with Spanish. Like if a fight break out, you better go ahead and defend your own kind or whatever like that. So in 1971, if you was black or Spanish and you did a crime that required for you to be in a correctional facility, they sent your ass upstate and they sent you to Attica. Now Attica, the fucking prison was overcrowded, y'all. There was no space for anybody up in there. But the jail, let me give y'all the exact numbers because I don't want to give y'all no fake numbers. I want y'all to really feel what I'm saying. Let me give y'all the exact numbers. The prison was 80% black. So like I said, if you was black or Spanish and you did a crime that required you to do some time, your ass was sent to Attica. They sent everybody to Attica. And it was only 10%, what was it? 10% Spanish. And that was it. It was 80% black and 10% Spanish. So there were gangs in there too, y'all. They had Bloods in there. They had Crips in there. They had the Junior Lords in there. They had, you know, like politics, basic politics or whatever. Now, as some of y'all know, because history has proven it, all big like riots and race wars and all type of shit like that, it all start from something really small. And it only takes something real small to set it off. Well, that's basically what happened in Attica. So, let me give y'all some of the conditions, okay? The conditions that I'm talking about. Now, in Attica, the temperatures, they were either really, 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 really cold, or they were really, 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 really hot. It was no in between, okay? People only worked for 56 cents a day. You only got paid 50 cents a day, 56 cents a day. You only take a shower every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you got to take a shower. Can y'all imagine that? Let me tell y'all. When I take a shower every day, whether I'm going somewhere or whether I'm not going somewhere. And when I don't, I feel disgusting. Like, I really can't lay in my bed unless I take a shower. Even if I ain't go nowhere that day, I just feel like dirt is on me. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, can you imagine you in prison and you only get allowed one shower every 2 weeks? Yeah, one shower every 2 weeks. You was only allowed one roll of toilet paper. You can only get one roll of toilet paper. You can only read what they wanted you to read. You couldn't, like, you know how niggas go in there and they get educated on everything, you know, they read about. No. Because for the sake of racial tension, you know, I guess trying to keep it down or whatever, or just enlightenment on the fuck shit that was going on. They didn't want, like, you know, if you go into prison and you ignorant, then, you know, whatever these people is doing to you, you're going to think, okay, well, that's just a part of being in prison. But if you go into prison and you know a little something like, this ain't right, this is human rights, this is not cool, you know what I'm saying? So for that reason, you couldn't read anything that you wanted to read. They didn't want you to be enlightened. You was only allowed 1 bar of soap, as well as 1 bar of 1 roll of toilet paper. You was only allowed 1 bar of soap. So you run out of soap for the month, then I guess you had to wait the whole next month to get a bar of soap. You had no due process when it came to parole. So I mean, you could, no lawyer, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? You had no due process when it came up to your parole. So a lot of people got denied for parole. There was only 2 doctors in that whole prison, and they were racist. So you didn't have no real medical treatment, and you didn't have no real care if you was to get hurt, or if you was to get stabbed, or if you was to get sick. You know what I'm saying? Because the 2 doctors in there were racist. So say you get bashed in your head, you get bashed upside your head, and you got to go to the infirmary. It was basically on some shit like, oh, well, take this bag of ice and go back to your cell. Like, that's how it was. Because them motherfuckers wasn't trying to treat no black people, and they wasn't trying to treat no Spanish people. You couldn't file no grievances against COs. Like, if COs was wilding out on you and doing all type of fuck shit, you couldn't file no complaints on them. You know, them niggas to just do what the fuck that they wanted to do. And the most craziest shit of all the COs was white. All the COs was white, y'all. There was no black COs. There was no Spanish COs. And you had Spanish speaking inmates in there, but there was no Spanish COs. All the guards was white. Every guard was white. So yeah, y'all, of course, you know, with shit like that going on, like I said, it only takes a matter of time before some shit is like, okay, that enough is enough. So what started the Attica riot was something real small. It was something so small, so insignificant. But that's usually how shit goes, y'all. September 8th, 1971. There's a football game going on. There's a football game going on between 2 inmates. 1 black and 1 white. The white guy is an older gentleman. The black guy is a young guy. He had to be like 18, maybe younger than that. The white inmate, Ray Lamoury, and the black inmate, Leroy Dewar. So they playing football, right? They playing football, and the white inmate is trying to teach the black inmate, I guess, maneuvers. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is how you tackle people. This is how you do this. This is how you do that, or whatever like that. So they're playing football. Y'all know football is a contact sport. So they're playing football, minding their own fucking business. And one of the guards mistakes the football game, or him teaching the black guy how to do certain things. He takes that as a fight. They're fighting. They're like, oh my God, this nigga is over here tackling this white man. So he runs over there and tries to subdue the black kid, Leroy Dewar. He tries to subdue him. Now, all of y'all know, especially if you ever been in a fight and it's a crowd of people. Now, when you get in a fight and somebody come at you from behind, you not thinking who is that. You just like, yo, somebody trying to tackle me from behind. So the CO comes and grabs him from behind. As a reaction, he, hits the CO, and the CO hits the ground or whatever like that. All the other COs see that, and they swing into action. They run into action like, oh, hell no. This nigga just hit a guard. Like, okay, oh, hell no. So they go in there and they try to grab Leroy Dewar. The black inmates surround him. Like, they surround him and block him in. Like, oh, hell no, y'all not taking this kid up out of here. Y'all not taking this kid up out of here. Because it's a football game. Like, first of all, there was no fight going on. So where did this motherfucker come in trying to grab him up and subdue him? He wasn't fighting. Even Ray Lamoury, the white inmate, is like, what was y'all doing? Like, we weren't fighting. We were playing football. So the CEOs is like, oh hell no, we don't care. He was attacking. He attacked the CEO and blah 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 and all type of shit like that. So the inmates is like, we're not letting you take him. So y'all can say whatever the fuck y'all want to say, but y'all not taking this kid up out of here. And even the white inmates is like, nah, that's not cool. Y'all not taking him. So the CEOs is like, all right, we gonna deal with this shit later. Fine. So dinner time comes, and they grab them up out of their cell, both of them, Ray Lamourie and Leroy Dewar. They grab them up and they send them to the hole. They put them in the hole. So inmates find out that they're in the hole because another inmate that worked downstairs, or I guess upstairs, wherever the hole is, but an inmate that worked close to the hole came back upstairs in the mess hall and was telling everybody like, oh, they beating the shit out of them down there. Like, it's not just they down there. They beating the shit out of them down there. Prison goes crazy. The mess hall goes crazy, and somehow, they start a little mini riot. It wasn't a big one, but it was a little mini riot. In the midst of this little mini riot, a bottle gets thrown at a CO. And the CO gets cut or whatever like that. They grab up whoever it was that threw the bottle. I think it was a white inmate. The inmate that threw the bottle, they send that inmate to lockdown. He don't get sent to the hole. He just gets sent to his cell for lockdown for 24 hours, right? Send everybody else, mess hall, everybody gets sent back to their cell for the night and all type of shit. So the white inmates is like, yo, they got our boy down there beating the shit out of him. The black inmates is like, yo, they got our boy down there beating the shit, and they didn't even do nothing. Like, this shit is crazy or whatever like that. And then on top of that, they got this dude in lockdown. So the next morning, it's time for breakfast. The guard that was in the yard at the time when that whole shit broke out between Leroy Dewar and that inmate, and that CO, he's the one in charge of taking motherfuckers down to the mess hall for breakfast. So he goes and he opens up the cell. He's like, all right, y'all, it's time for breakfast. Let's go. The inmates is like, we not going nowhere until you get that nigga out of lockdown. He's like, we'll get him out of lockdown when we finish with all of y'all. They're like, no, we're not going to breakfast until you get that inmate out of lockdown. He don't belong in lockdown. Because according to them, he wasn't even the one that threw the bottle. So they didn't think that it was cool that he was in lockdown. And they didn't think that it was cool that the other two inmates was sent to the hole for something, and they wasn't even fighting. Obviously, this dude wasn't trained, because somehow, while he's rounding everybody up to go to the mess hall for breakfast, somehow one of the inmates flips the switch to the dude's cell that got sent to lockdown, and he was able to jump into the meal line to go to breakfast. So the CEO was like, whatever, deal with that later. So he takes them to breakfast or whatever. They finish breakfast. It's time to go get another block to go to breakfast. On their way to go pick up another block to go to breakfast, he gets a call on the radio, the CEO. He gets a call on the radio. These motherfuckers is wilding. I think it was in C Block. These motherfuckers is wilding in C Block. They just took over C Block. So he's on the radio like, oh my God, they just took over C Block. The inmates just took over C Block. He's like, oh, okay, oh shit. The inmates hear this and take his ass hostage. He tries to call, like, while he gets the call, he gets the radio that they just took over C Block. So he tries to call the other blocks like, yo, the inmates is wilding. They just took over C Block. But before he could do that, the other inmates hear that and they take his ass hostage. They take his ass hostage. Take his ass hostage, open up the gate, and then the inmates run to what they call Times Square. That's like where all the controls are, where all the switches are. They break into Times Square, fuck up the guards that's in Times Square, and open up the entire prison. So now, they up in there on some shit like, oh, yeah, you remember last week when you ain't let me take my shower? You remember last week when you beat the shit out of me for no reason? Okay, now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Now, granted, y'all, they didn't seriously hurt nobody. Like, they didn't, because they really didn't have no weapons. I know there was shanks and shit like that, but they really didn't, like, they didn't take nobody's guns. They, you know what I mean? They ain't do none of that bullshit. They was just basically beating the shit out of COs and stuff like that. So now the prison is in a full riot. It's in a full riot, and it's opened up. The prison is opened up. They done opened up the entire fucking prison. So somewhere in the mix, somebody makes the decision like, okay, we got control. What we gonna do with this control? Let's use it to our advantage or whatever like that. Let's not be stupid and just be wilding out in here. Let's use it to our advantage. So they move everybody. They take some COs hostage or whatever like that. They move everybody to D Block, the D Block yard. And I guess, you know, somehow or another, word got to the warden, word got to the commissioner, like, okay, prisoners have just taken over. Prisoners have just taken over Attica. They on D Block. So they decide, like I said, at first they was just beating the shit out of guards. But then two people, let me give y'all their names. Richard Clark and Hubert X. They decided to become leaders. At first there wasn't no real leaders, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't planned. The riot wasn't planned. But they decide, okay, let's organize and get some shit handled. Like, y'all know that the prison is fucked up. The shit that they doing is fucked up. So let's use this to our advantage and see what we can get handled. And then at this time, by morning, mind y'all, the whole incident shit started on September 8th. September 9th is when the riot actually happened. So by then, when the riot was in full swing, they had 32 guards held hostage and 6 civilian employees held hostage. The commissioner hears, oh my God, Attica prison has just been taken over. He goes and he sends negotiators into the prison. And they were cool with it. Like, the prison was like, yeah, let them come in. Let them come in. They could come in with cameras. They could come in with whatever. Because we're going to show y'all that, A, we not hurting nobody. We not doing nothing wrong to these people. They hostage. They held hostage, but we not hurting them. Nobody is hurt. Nobody needs medical attention. Yeah, send all them people in. So the commissioner sends in negotiators, and they send in camera crews.
I work with these men. They haven't done nothing to me. I mean, in the excitement, certain things went on around here. Okay, that's understandable. People get excited and things happen.
The prisoners keep their guards hostage. When Oswald postpones the assault force to open negotiations, the inmates handpick outside negotiators to hear their grievances and to protect them from retaliation.
So they send them in there. And the commissioner himself was sitting there. And it's like, all right, what do y'all want? Like, what do y'all want? What is it going to take for us to end this entire thing? So, of course, they're like, yo, we want real medical attention. We want to be able to file complaints against these COs that's beating the shit out of us. We want more than white COs. It shouldn't just be white COs in here when we got people that speak in Spanish. We got people that speak in other languages. It's not fair. So can we please get some black COs in here, some Spanish COs in here? We would love more than one shower every 2 weeks. We would love more than one toilet paper to wipe our ass. We would love more than one bar of soap. Like, you know, they was giving legit demands. Like, it wasn't no bullshit. Like, oh, we want better food. Nah, it wasn't no shit like that. It was like, nah, can we please be treated like human beings? Can we please read what the fuck we want to read? Like, come on, like, y'all got to give us something. So the commissioner, he's like, all right, I'm gonna take these demands to the warden. So the Commissioner Oswald was his name. Commissioner Oswald. He takes it to the warden. The warden's name was Mancusi. Mancusi is like, hold on. So you got a bunch of niggas and spics in here telling me they want toilet paper. They taking COs hostage and shit because they want toilet paper, because they want showers. Like, hell no, I'm not giving them shit. So the commissioner, he goes back in there. He's like, listen, y'all, the warden ain't trying to hear that. Can y'all let some hostages go? They're like, no, we not letting no hostages go. Like, come on, give us what we asking for. We deserve that. Like, we're human beings. We're men.
We are men. We are not beasts, and we do not intend to be driven or beaten as such. The entire prison populace has set forth to change forever the ruthless brutalization and disregard for the lives of the prisoners here and throughout the United States. What has happened here is but the sound before the fury of those who are oppressed.
So Oswald, you know, he's like all for it. Like, he's like, all right, I understand what y'all are saying, and I feel y'all, you know, but I have to be honest. This dude is not trying to give y'all shit. He's upset that y'all done took people hostage and that COs have been injured. You know what I'm saying? We you know, he ain't trying to hear y'all. Like, he not trying to hear y'all. So he's like, well, so they're like, okay, well, if he ain't trying to hear us, we not letting nobody go. Now, y'all, by the next day, they did take a guard. They took a guard, and when the whole riot started, they took a guard hostage. William Quinn was a guard that they took hostage. He was beaten. He was beaten when the riot first started. By the next day or whatever, he had died of his injuries. So when they heard, especially, you know, the warden, when Mancusi heard that this guard died of his injuries, he's like, all right, definitely, I'm not giving them shit. Like, I'm not giving them shit. Tell them to come out or we coming in there. So Oswald goes and he's like, listen, y'all, because this guard died, y'all really don't have a leg to stand on. Like, either come out or we coming in. So the prisoners is like, fuck y'all, come in here then. Come in here. We not letting nobody go. Come in here. Bring y'all asses up in here. We ready. Like, come on. Come up in. Mind y'all, these people didn't have no weapons. They, like I said, they took COs and shit hostage, but they ain't had no weapons. They ain't had shit. And they were like, all right, come in here then. So Oswald leaves the prison. The negotiators leave the prison. And they're like, okay, well, you know, whatever happens, happens. Or whatever like that. Y'all, Mancusi is pissed. He is pissed the fuck off. So he's like, listen, I want every single National Guard that works in New York City. I want every police officer, state trooper that works in New York City to come to Attica right now. He calls for the motherfuckers to come to Attica. They come to Attica. He opens up the arsenal with all the guns and all type of shit. He opens up the arsenal. Take whatever gun you want. Take whatever gun you want. You ain't got to sign for it. You ain't got to say, okay, I'm officer such and such and I got this gun. Take whatever gun you want. Take how many guns you want. Opens up the arsenal, lets these state troopers and these police officers and stuff and the National Guard come in there and take whatever gun that they want. He tells them to take off their badges, to take off their name tags and their badges. And he sends them in there. Helicopters and all. First they send in a helicopter. All the guards, I mean not all the guards, all of the prisoners, the people that's being held hostage, all of them are on D block. They're on D block. So they come in on the roof. Not only, no, I forgot to mention, y'all, they cut surveillance too. They cut surveillance. After they was like, oh, take whatever gun you want. Take whatever gun you want and take your badge off and all type of shit. They cut surveillance. They cut all surveillance in the prison. So you couldn't see what was going on. The only people that could see was like the news crew. The news crew that would happen to be on the roof that could see D block because it was open, so you could see D block. So you saw all the prisoners and you saw all the guards and all type of shit like that. So they send in the helicopter. They send in the helicopter first. Everybody get down, put your hands up, you will not be harmed. They said that on the loudspeaker. Everybody get down on the ground, put your, they didn't have no weapons. Get down on the ground, put your hands up, you will not be harmed, right? You see the helicopter come in. So they complied. Like they knew, like the prisoners knew, all right, they coming in for us. So they complied. They didn't fight. They didn't, you know, none of that. They complied. You see them get down on the ground. So they get down on the ground or whatever like that. Next thing you know, you see the gas. They drop gas on them. They drop CS gas. They drop CS gas on it. So there's video. I'm going to insert the video, y'all. So you got these prisoners. They're complying. They're getting down on the ground with their hands up. Next thing you know, you see gas. You just see white gas, white smoke. They drop CS gas on them. So now they can't see and they can't breathe. A second later, you hear gunshots. You hear bullets. Just shooting. Machine guns. Shooting. Shooting at these people. They fired 4,500 rounds at these people that did not have any guns and didn't have any weapons. Not only that, y'all, the hostages were there too. It wasn't like they were just shooting at prisoners. There was hostages there too. And all the COs that they took hostage, all the civilians that worked in the prison that they took hostage, they shooting at all these people. Oh boy. So then after that, they make their way into the prison. They make their way into the prison and they round everybody up. They round everybody up. Whoever wasn't dead already from the 4,500 rounds that they just shot at these people. Whoever wasn't dead, they went and took into custody. Not actually, not really into custody, but you know, took hold of them or whatever like that. So they basically took hold of anybody who they thought were leaders. They thought started the riot. They took hold of those people. They made them take all their clothes off, the prisoners. You know what I'm saying? They made them take all their clothes off. They made them crawl in the mud. And all the people that they thought were leaders, they tortured. We had like police officers, state troopers, National Guards. You know what I'm saying? There was one guy, I don't remember his name. I'll insert it. If I find out his name, I'll insert it. They took him thinking he was a leader or whatever. Made him take all his clothes off. Man, y'all, and they had this on camera.
Made me lay on the table and put a football in me and threatened me with castration and killing me.
They told him that if the football dropped, they would blow his brains out, and then they proceeded to torture him for 6 hours by burning cigarette holes in him, pushing into his testicles, and they had him there in full view of everybody else, as an example. Then they took him off the table, and walked him into the gauntlet by pushing a bayonet in his anus.
It just went crazy. They played Russian roulette all through the night. They cracked my head open and broke my wrists and took me to the hospital and laid me on the floor, spread eagle, and played shotgun roulette with me. Open your eyes, nigga. Don't close your eyes. We gonna castrate you.
They did all of this to like all the people that they thought were leaders. Nothing ever, like, it wasn't proven like this person started it, this person was a leader, this person was in charge of A block, this person was in charge of D block. Like, it wasn't, they just took who they thought were leaders. And this guy was a big guy. He was a big guy. I guess that's why they thought he was a leader. But yeah, and then they took them all inside, and it was the same thing. You know, they sexually assaulted a lot of the inmates. A lot of men got anally penetrated by batons, and y'all cracked. And when I tell you cracked in they balls, like, the shit that they did was crazy to these people, all for this riot, because they were asking for, you know, for better conditions. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I'm in jail, but I'm still a human being. Like, I still deserve to bathe. I still deserve to, you know, have a shot. I still deserve to wipe my ass. But yeah, y'all, they really, like I said, they took a lot of the, a good majority. Like I said, whoever wasn't dead got taken into the prison and basically got sexually assaulted. They got sexually assaulted. They got beaten. You know, a lot of people had broken eye sockets. A lot of people had they had skull fractures from being bashed in the head. And, you know, like I said, a lot of them was sexually assaulted. A lot of them got anally penetrated with batons and all type of shit like that. So that was basically it, y'all, for the riot. You know, it only lasted, let me see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 days. 4 days they had people in custody. I mean, they had people held hostage or whatever like that. September 13th, they went in there and basically cleaned house. So, we can go back to 2021, y'all. Let's go. Alright, y'all, be back to 2021. So, of course, y'all, naturally, after all of this was over, of course, you know, the establishment tried to charge them. You know, all the inmates was like, okay, well, we about to add some time to y'all sentence. Y'all want to take people hostage? Okay, we about to add some time to y'all sentence. Because, y'all, not only, you know, did the whole thing of the riot happening, when it was all said and done, so what they tried to do was be like, okay, the inmates are responsible for these people's deaths. But remember, I told y'all earlier, they didn't have any weapons. They didn't have no fucking weapons. So when the medical examiner went and did the autopsy on all these inmates that were killed and all the guards that were killed, all of them were killed from bullets. All of them were killed from gunshot wounds. Who had guns? Of course, the police, the National Guard, and the state troopers. They was the only people with the guns. So it's like, hold up, we can't charge these people with that. So that immediately got thrown out. And then the prisoners was like, all right, I'm filing a lawsuit. I'm filing a lawsuit against the state of New York because I got my ass beat. You know what I'm saying? I got my head fractured. I got, you know, all type of stuff happened to me. And I'm filing a lawsuit. So, of course, y'all, they held it up because they wasn't trying to give them, nothing. They wasn't trying to give them nothing. And they wasn't trying to give their attorneys shit either. So, it took 26 years, y'all. It took 26 years. They filed a lawsuit against New York State just in time, like right before the statute of limitations was about to run out. They filed it just in time. But it took 26 years, y'all. It took 26 years for them to see any type of justice. Like I said, it took 26 years for them to see any type of fucking justice for anything that they went through. So, let's talk about the aftermath, y'all. Now, after that 26 years, the inmates of Attica prison, they were awarded $4 million. Them and their attorneys were awarded $4 million. You know, not only that, y'all, but now, as you know, now y'all see, there's niggas that's in jail that's on TikTok. There's niggas in jail that's on TikTok. They got TV shows like fucking Lock Up and 60 Days In and all type of stuff. Like, you know, now, y'all, of course, the prison system has changed. Now, you know, you can file grievances against CEOs if they do some fuck shit. I don't know if they really go anywhere, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's a CEO against an inmate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it doesn't go anywhere. I'm just saying that, you know, it's still a CEO's word against the inmate. But now you can do that. Now, of course, niggas get 2 showers a day. Niggas get 2 showers a day. You get phone calls. You get video calls. You get mail. You know what I'm saying? You can read whatever it is that you want to read. You get more than 1 bar of soap. You get commissary. You get more than 1 roll of toilet paper. And all type of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You are allowed to have a lawyer at your parole hearing. You know what I'm saying? There's due process now and all type of stuff. And all of that, y'all, is because of these men that decided one day, I'm tired of this bullshit, and I'm not an animal. I did a crime, but I'm not a fucking animal, and I don't deserve to get treated like an animal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this shit. Now, y'all, granted, I don't think that they ever planned on taking over a prison. I don't think that was it wasn't planned. Everybody from that time, everybody that was serving time in Attica in 1971, they all say the same thing. All of them say that it wasn't planned. It was just something that happened. It just came from people being annoyed. You know, people being fed up. Like, why the fuck do I have to get treated like this just because I committed a crime? And a lot of them wasn't in Attica for violent crimes. A lot of them wasn't even in it. A lot of them was in there for drugs. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them wasn't in there for violent crimes. You know, and then like I said, when the whole thing happened, how they tried to charge them with murder and add time to their sentence when it was clear that they didn't have nothing to do with inmates being shot. They didn't have nothing to do with, of course, never had nothing to do with prisoners being shot. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they just wanted to be treated like humans or whatever like that. So in a way, it was a good thing, and in a way, it was a bad thing, because as y'all know, there's still people that get fucked around with in jail. You know what I mean? And if y'all watch 60 Days In, you can see that there's some guards that aren't really trained to do shit. Like, you know what I mean? They just basically there, but they're not really trained to do shit. And as y'all know from like people like Khalif Browder, people like Omar Broadway. If y'all ain't never seen that documentary, an Omar Broadway film, I think it's called, or whatever like that. He sadly passed away. Sadly, both of them passed away, Khalif Browder and Omar Broadway. But Omar Broadway was like the first to actually film in New Jersey, in a New Jersey prison. He was the first to actually film the type of fuck shit that COs be doing in prisons. He was the first one to actually do it, and you know, he was the first one to sneak a camera into a prison. And you know, of course, you know, they showed what happened to Khalif Browder while he was serving time for something that he didn't even do, while he was waiting to have a trial, and they treated this kid like a fucking animal. And then he comes home, and of course he's mentally disturbed because he was locked in solitary confinement for months and months and months and months and months and months. So yeah, y'all, but like I said, a lot has changed. There needs to be more prison reform, but a lot has changed from how they used to do shit opposed to before the Attica prison riots. So now y'all know where that comes from. Now, if I know everybody has heard of it. I used to hear about it all the time, like Attica and all that stuff. I never knew what the fuck it was. I knew that there was an Attica prison, but I never knew that there was an actual riot. Like, I didn't know nothing about that. So now y'all know about the Attica prison riot and how that led to prison reform. A lot of prison reform and a lot of things that are done differently in the jails now. Thanks to these men, some who lost their lives in this riot, some that will be in jail for the rest of their life for whatever reason, because some of them didn't get pardoned, as far as like I think the prisoners that actually killed William Quinn, that guard who actually beat him to death, I think they're still in jail. Like, they're never coming home. But for the rest of the people that were in there that actually made it out and was able to see that $4 million, they deserve a little salute. So yeah, y'all, that's the end of the story. But like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. I will be hitting y'all with some more videos like this. Excuse me if this shit was like all over the place, because it was a long story, and I wasn't trying to make it too long, but it kind of was a long story. You know what I'm saying? It was a fucking prison riot. I had to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll check y'all in another video. Peace.